back to the episode of Let's Talk Boxing. I'm Leti.
I'm LB.
And let's get into the PBC card this weekend.
Yep.
So we have a few fights.
Yep.
We have the return of some.
Yeah, we got an underrated. I'll say we have an underrated PBC card, and I say that because PBC is giving nothing but fire lately. Mm. So you know, this is a very competitive card. So we're looking forward to it. So.
Yeah, I mean we have Fernando Martinez, aka
Puma,
versus Jade Bornea.
Everybody knows.
And I mean, it's on the smaller weight division.
Yeah. So we know they come to fight.
Yep, and we like watching Puma. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the Puma, but damn, when he fights, he gives a show.
Yep. And
he has so much emotion.
Yep.
Also, charisma. He came suited and booted to the press conference.
Yep.
He make a little skrill now. But yeah, that's gonna be a good little fight. Yep. You know, he's fighting against the Philippines, Bornea, and they come to fight too.
Yep. And Bornea said he looking to get that get back for Ancajas because if you guys didn't know, Puma dethroned Ancajas and took his title, and there was a rematch clause. They ran it back, and he beat him again, and he pretty much dominated Ancajas. And Puma is non-stop action. I think I called him the Jackal afterwards, because he's just non-stop. And it was funny in the press conference. He goes, yeah, I'm like a mini Mike Tyson.
He did. He said,
I was like,
don't
okay.
miss this fight because I'm a mini Mike Tyson.
But he's always fun to watch. And that just shows how much of a influence Mike Tyson has
on many, from the small
different
countries to
the
different countries, different weight divisions.
But
that's gonna be a cool little fight. We also have the return of Erickson Lubin.
That's gonna be
Luis Arias.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting because we know that he was. Yeah, go ahead.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's all she gonna say because when you watch his last fight, that's what it was. It was fight of the year candidate versus the Towering Inferno.
Whatever.
Sebastian Fundora.
Yeah.
So it was a fight of the year, and he ended up being stalked in that fight. But it was a very competitive fight. And he was actually winning at the time of the stoppage. So I am definitely excited to see him back in the ring. Luis Arias, Luis Arias can fight too, and I think that's a good matchup. And it's like for the simple fact of Luis Arias, we seen him in there with Jared Hurd, and he was able to beat Jared Hurd, and so he's definitely gonna come to fight. Luis Arias has fought at 160. There was a time when I thought he was gonna end up fighting Tony Harrison when he threw the rubber ducky at him in the press conference. But that fight,
he was pissed.
Yeah, but that fight didn't happen. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see him versus Erickson Lubin. And to see, just to see how the fight goes. I think it's going to be a competitive fight also.
I'm actually excited.
Especially for his fight back, it's a good fight.
Yeah. I want to see him come back for that. I don't want his last fight to be the remembrance of us, the way he looked on that last fight with Fundora. Yeah. Even though Fundora did lose to, Mendoza. But yeah, I'm happy to see him fight again, and I'm curious to see how he's gonna come back. If he's gonna be hesitant at all, after that huge fight, guys. I know you guys watched it. I wonder if he's gonna be like, damn, kind of traumatized, low key.
I don't think so. Just for the way that he's always been, talking afterwards. And he really feels like, when the fight was stopped, he was kind of, even though he was, he didn't look good to the viewing eyes. He really didn't want it to be stopped. But, when he reflects on it, he always says, what I just said, like, I was winning that fight, and he's talked about getting his rematch. So I don't expect him to come in being timid. And I'll say this, the way Luis Arias fights, he can't come in there being timid because Luis Arias comes in to fight.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it a good fight. And even though Lubin wasn't there at the press conference, I would have loved to see that just because of all the trash talk they've been having. But they've been doing a lot of trash talk leading up into this fight on social media, on Twitter. So I just can't wait for that fight too. I'm locked in on that one.
That's gonna be good.
Yep.
And then of course we have Carlos Adames versus Julian Williams.
Carlos Adames, Bronco.
So what did you think? I mean, they got, I wouldn't say too much heated in the press conference. I wouldn't say that, but it seemed like Williams was like locked in or like
he locked in. I think he locked in, but it was
just I don't know. Like he was even the translator. Like, are you sure you're telling him what I'm saying? Like, are you translating it right?
What would you think? Did the translator do all right?
He didn't. I mean, there's a few things that were missed, and then some I couldn't hear because he was being cut off or whatever.
But yeah, it was definitely interesting. It looked like Julian J-Rock was just there to as a formality just to get the press conference there. He didn't really come in to talk. He didn't want to go back and forth, but he did end up calling him a bully, and he was like, "Hey, tell him I said that."
Yeah, and he knew. Adames knew what a bully was. He didn't need the translation.
Yeah, he was like, "What the?"
But yeah, it seemed like he was just really like, just they're like serious, and Adames seemed like he wanted to talk a little bit and show his little character.
Yeah, and he tried to make it seem like J-Rock, he knows what's gonna happen. He knows I'm gonna pretty much saying that he wasn't ready, right? But yeah, I'm excited for this fight. Carlos Adames, he currently holds the interim title. We know who has the main title, and that is Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo, he hasn't been active. And he's been wanting Jamal Charlo, and this is another Jamal Charlo opponent in J-Rock. Last time we saw Adames, he fought Montiel, and he blew Montiel out. Probably he blew him out in the way that I thought that Jamal Charlo would have when they ended up fighting when Jamal Charlo fought him. And before that, he went through a war with Sergey Deryachenko, who we just saw last weekend. So I'm definitely excited for this fight. And J-Rock is a previous unified world champion at 154 pounds. He knocked off one of the guys in the division in Jarrett Hurd when Jarrett Hurd was looked at as the guy, and he was undefeated, and he knocked him off, which was huge. But then after that, we saw him, take that loss to Banana in Jason Rosario.
That's my guy right there.
Yeah. So, and then after that, he took a little time off, but then he came, and then I think he took either a draw or a loss in his next fight after that, and then he took another fight at 160. But if the J-Rock that we seen against Jarrett Hurd shows up, we're definitely going to be in for a good fight. He's a very good skilled fighter out of Philly.
Another Philly fighter.
So he definitely has those skills. Also, he's real crafty on the inside. He's got a nice little inside game. If you want to check him out, check out that Jarrett Hurd fight. A lot of questions. Even Brian Custer brought it up. A lot. Because of the. When it comes to J-Rock, people always talk, people try to bring up his chin because of what happened with Jamal Charlo. When Jamal Charlo fought him, he knocked him out early. And then, we just saw, the most recently was Jason Rosario. But, so that's kind of the thing. And that's kind of what Adames has kind of been talking about and why he thinks he goes, oh yeah, I want to end in spectacular knockout. So, but I will say this, I think as the fight goes on, it's going to be very interesting. But Carlos Adames is explosive. He previously, this is in his first title fight at 154. He didn't look his best against Patrick Teixeira, and he took a loss to him. But since he's moved up to 160, he's looked like a completely different fighter. He's looked explosive. He's got a nice uppercut with the right hand. Sometimes he switches stances. But yeah, and he's dangerous. I'll say this, especially early on in the fight, he's very dangerous. But towards the end of the fights, he's had a sometimes he tends to slow down. And then J-Rock on the other hand, within 6 rounds, he's been stopped in 6 rounds. So, I think he's going to be dangerous early. And then if it goes past that 6 rounds, you know, when Adames starts to slow down, it could get very, very interesting, and we could be in for an interesting decision. But as you can see, I just can't wait. I'm intrigued by this fight.
Yeah, it's gonna be good ones. We also have a few other ones on different card, but it's gonna be a good little weekend of boxing.
Yeah,
so.
We also got the return of Berlanga,
AKA the bite eater.
Yeah, we just talked about
the bite eater, ear eater.
Yeah, we just talked about mini Mike Tyson and Puma, and then we had and we got the Mike Tyson
ear biter.
So you know this. You know, he seems focused. I will say Edgar's definitely seems focused. And hopefully this time off, you know, he's really got locked in.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really was impressed and I was glad to hear him say was, he goes, you know what? I don't think that he's going to sit there and trade with me. I'm prepared to chase him. And because, you know, I don't like it when, you know, you get in there and, you know, when fighters get in there and they're not prepared for, you know, someone who's box and move. And then look, I'm
gonna say he can say that, but once you start to do that, it's a whole nother thing. So we're gonna have to wait to see how he could react to that, because we know we just had this weekend with, you know, Regis and the way that his opponent was boxing. He was moving low board, couldn't get to him. Yeah,
but Regis, yeah, that's right. We did see that. But
it's just, I don't know. I hope he comes back. Like we said, he does look focused. And it's just hope that he's been focused and, you know, just knows how to change up the game. Yeah,
I think it's different just for the simple fact of Regis didn't expect him to come in and fight like that off the, you know, and just kind of use the ring and run around the ring. Even when he talked about his sparring partners, he's like, I fought all my sparring partners. We all met in the middle. So that's why I was so glad to hear Berlanga say, hey, I've been training for him to run around. So if that's the case, then I don't think we shouldn't look how the Regis fight looks. So, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So, but yeah, we just want to give you guys a little weekend preview of what to expect, and you know, there's some interesting fights out there. But that's all we got. Let us know, you know, how you see any of these fights going, or what you guys think about these fights. We're definitely got some recaps coming. You guys already know that. But that's all we got. So thanks for tuning in, y'all.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Or talk your shit. And